Hi, welcome to Car Mechanical. In this video I'm going to show you how to refresh your engine covers and how to soundproof them. So we're looking here at how my old setup was. I had just the one engine cover until I bought a couple more off eBay for £25. Now you can see someone's done a brilliant job of painting them red. You can see it really fits in with the aesthetic that I'm going for. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be respraying these and I'm going to be adding soundproofing to try and quieten down the diesel engine a little bit from within the cabin. So to start with, what we'll do, let's get some kind of baseline to figure out where the sound was and we can see if it makes any difference at the end. So I'm just using a phone app. Now I think this is probably a little bit subjective depending on where the phone was, the kind of wind noise that's outside, the angle of the microphone and everything. But we can see there we've got a baseline for what the sound is inside and outside of the car. So to do this we're going to be using some soap and water. We're going to be using the adhesive sheets themselves for the sound deadening. We're going to be using some sandpaper and we're going to be using what if you choose to spray it with. So I'm going to be using a plastic dip style spray from Rustoleum. And what we need to do first is we need to clean everything up. So we need a bucket of soap and water. So what we need to do with the cleaning is we need to use soapy water. We need to clean all the grime off of these because we want the paint to stick and we want the adhesive sound deadening to stick without coming back up. So I just literally cleaned everything quite thoroughly. I've sped this up quite a bit. One thing you might find with your main engine cover, mine used to have some deadening material underneath it. That fell to bits within a couple of times of taking it off. The car is about 15 years old, so if you have got something to take off you might need a little bit more effort to take everything off. But if you're like mine, you've got nothing left, so you're just cleaning it all up. And I'm just using a regular car shampoo on this, and I'm just using sort of a hand pressure washer just to kind of spray everything off. And I just keep going over it again and again until I've got all of the grime off. Now they've been under the car for quite a few years, they might be quite messy. Now you don't really need to sand these as such to spray them, but I'm getting rid of all of the high points. So I'm just kind of going over anywhere where it's had chips or scratches or anything, and I'm just leveling the paint down a little bit. And it does mean you go back to some of the bare plastic a bit, but I'd rather that it's all at one level so that when we do come around to spraying it, it looks a lot better. Now you can sand the whole thing if you want, it gives a better adhesion texture to the plastic, but it's not really needed with the plastic dip that I'm going to use. I'll just go over the scratches and all the marks to get everything nice and even. Now what you do need to do when you have finished doing all of this, you need to let it thoroughly dry. You also need to give it a wipe over as well, so you could use any kind of panel wipe or you could use some alcohol or something like that. I've got quite a bit of panel wipe just in the cupboard, so I'm just going to go over that. And I did find underneath that I did have to use the panel wipe because the soap didn't quite take everything up, so I had to go on the underside and panel wipe it just a couple of times, and you can see what that did to the cloth as well. So now we've got our prep done, we can go to put the sound deadening on, and this is fairly simple to be honest. The hardest bit is cutting the right bits. I am not the best person in the world at arts and crafts, so for me this is a little bit of a struggle, but if I can do it, anyone can. So what you want to do is just kind of line it all up and see how it is going to fold down, see where you need to put cuts in to go around things, and then start to sort of make it all work together. So what I choose to do here is I cut a section off because I can see that's where it's going to go on, and then I'm going to put another full piece around it. So it's sticky back stuff, just get it nice and lined up. Probably best with a little bit of overhang off the edge because you can trim that off with scissors or a Stanley knife or a craft knife after. Stick it all down, and then we're going to move on to the next bit. So the next bit I'm going to do here, I'm just going to show you in a bit more detail. I'm just literally cutting it around the bungs, and I'll cut any excess off and just kind of peel it, pressure it down or roll it down or whatever, and then I just work around, just cut the bits that you need to cut and just work it all the way around and keep pushing it down and reshaping it as you go around until you get it to conform to the shape that you want. Now one thing to bear in mind here is that you are going to have to trim it, so something like a Stanley knife does help, but also bear in mind that when you put it on it might interfere with other things as well. So it's not so much with the main engine cover, but the side covers are certain bits that you can't cover because of it just won't fit very well. And I think the longest bit for me here was just going around and trimming everything to get it just right so nothing was sticking out. So now we've finished trimming everything, we're going to move on to painting. So rather than actual paint, I'm going to be using a plastic dip type spray. I'm using Rustoleum's Peel-coat. I get this for just over £4 a can, so this is what I've chosen to use. And the way you use it is you put your first coat on very lightly. So I'm just going over here and I'm just putting on a very light coat. I will double up a little bit, but don't worry how bad it looks on the first coat, it will self-level out, and you give it sort of 20 to 40 minutes to dry. I always like to give it a bit longer before I put the next coat on. but you do 3 to 4 coats, maybe 5 if you want to, just to sort of get that nice coverage and make sure everything's nice and dry, because you can see I've got a little water spot, but I managed to cover it in future coats. So I'm going over this. I think I'll do the engine cover with 4 coats, and I think I'll do the others with 3 to 5. I think I lost one of the shots in between on my time lapsing. But when we are done, this is the finish we get. And like I said, it won't look like it when you finish the coat, but it does end up looking a lot better. So now we've done that, let's just quickly finish doing the other covers. So these are the side covers, and they took quite a while to cut and to get to shape. And there's certain bits I've not covered because they didn't interfere when they were fitted. So like this little bit here needs to be clear for the engine, otherwise it just wouldn't go on. So I think I'll point that out quickly there. And we're going to spray these as well. So these took a bit more effort because there was a lot more angles to them, but I'm just kind of walking around the table the whole time that I'm spraying these. And the reason that you paint them second is because you don't want to get any marks when you flip them over. So I think now we're cutting to about the third one. You can see I've still got red around the edges, so I need to get in at more angles. But as I start to move in, as I start to get towards the third and the fourth coat, we get towards that finished effect that we're looking for. And apologies for the camera going out of focus between shots. You set it up and the autofocus does its own business, which is great. Anyway, we've got that all nice and finished up, and there is a little bit of difference where it's not fully dry there, but I'm really happy with the finished effect there. So if we put all 3 together, we can see that looks so much better than before. And we can sort of see how the deadening looks underneath. Now just bear in mind they are raised a little bit, so when it comes to fitting, especially on the passenger side, things stand proud just a little bit. But the normal engine cover slips straight on like it should do. We're then going to put the airbox cover on. So that one just kind of hooks over. That almost kind of sits there. I think there's a bung missing to make this a bit tighter. But there's like a little nut that you can go over. I think I might 3D print a bung at some point to make it tighter as well. And this one here was the tighter one, so you need to pull some trim out of the way and put it into place, but it is ever so slightly high. So as we look around, we can sort of see it brings into focus other things that I need to deal with. The battery cover's broken, that's typical for kind of B6A4s, and there's a little bit of corrosion on the front cowl. That can be dealt with fairly easily. But I'm really happy with the results here. I think that looks so much better, and we'll give it a quick sound test. Now the end result weren't a positive figure wise. Audibly though, and it's kind of hard to demonstrate in the video, it's a much smoother sound. There's less of a ticky noise coming through from the engine that I was having before. So although the volume hasn't come down, the sound is less rough, it's less coarse. So with various stages of cleaning, spraying, drying, etc., this took about an afternoon to do, and cost wise it was about £16 to £17, and a little bit more on if you want to include panel wipe and your microfiber cloth. I'm really happy with the end result. Audibly it's made things noticeably smoother. Visually it looks a lot better, although there's a few things still to attend to that aren't related to the covers because they highlight it. I also like the fact that if it goes for an MOT, it covers certain things in the engine that you wouldn't necessarily want to be seen potentially. And that's it for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If it was helpful, please hit the like button. Please remember to leave any comments or feedback down below. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please remember to subscribe to the channel. And more than anything, thank you for watching.